FM in tonight's fourth race, the Bye Bye Bird Colt Pace. Gary, where do you race on a night-to-night basis?
At Monticello Raceway, Monticello, New York.
You've driven this colt to both of his victories there at Monticello, and it shows that he's pretty handy on a half-mile track, and you also drove him once at the Big Mile Oval up at the Meadowlands. Has this colt ever raced over a 5/8 mile track before, and how do you think he'll handle it tonight?
I believe he did as a 2-year-old at Pocono. We didn't have him then. We've only had him as a 3-year-old. He's warmed up very well. He should be okay.
As a driver, do you have to make any adjustments when you come from a half-mile track going to a mile track, let's say, or a mile track to a 5/8 mile?
Yeah, the mile track's a lot tougher. It's the half mile you can sit longer, get better trips out of it.
And what about here over the 5/8 mile track?
I haven't driven much on a 5 mile, to be honest with you.
Have you raced here at the Meadows ever before?
About 10 years ago, I raced a filly in the 2-year-old sire stakes.
So it's been a while before you've been around our oval. You know, Pretty Boy FM has been driven by 4 different drivers in his 8 starts this season. Is he an easy horse to drive?
He's a little tough behind the starting car, but once the car gets out of his way, he's okay.
Well, you say he's a little tough behind the starting car. When you look at his lines, it looks like he likes to leave. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, he gets real rank behind the gate.
Have you ever had the opportunity to see any of these horses race that he's in against tonight?
The one horse, Marmaduke Hanover, we raced against at the Meadowlands.
But when you were in against him, when you look at the past performance lines, it looks like that was when your colt was having some bad luck. What happened in those 2 instances?
The one time the hobble broke in the first turn, and then one other time he got interfered with coming through the stretch.
Do you think it's an asset for you to be familiar not only with the horse that you're driving, but other horses in the race, especially coming into a stakes race?
Oh yeah, definitely, if you know the horses.
Tonight, do you have any preconceived notions on where you want to be when the wings fold?
I'd like to go right to the front if I could.
Is that a case of some horsemen always think if you're the best, that's the place to be?
Yeah, it helps. Let me catch you.
Well, I thank you very much for joining me, Gary. And now let's go back up to the booth and Jerry and Roger.
Number 3 is Pretty Boy FM. Michael Miele of Wet Lake, New York. Chester Williams, the trainer. Gary Messenger, the driver. 3-year-old bay colt, the Colt 46 at a Passion Fever. 8 starts, 2 wins, a second and 2/3. Lifetime earnings $6,975. Lifetime market 203 at Monticello Raceway on the half-mile track. 5-1, the 3, Pretty Boy FM. Pacers are out and behind the gate. From the rail out, Marmaduke, Hanover, Keystone, Dexter, Pretty Boy FM, Tyler's Better, Keystone, Redford, Lake Hills, Dennis, and Pundit on the outside. They're off and pacing, going right out for the lead. Number 3, Pretty Boy FM, as Pundit is off stride. Into the turn. Number 2, Keystone Dexter second. Dropping in third, the 6, Lake Hills Dennis. Racing fourth, the 1, Marmaduke Hanover. Lake Hills Dennis passes up the hole and goes on. Now second on the outside as they race around the turn. And Lake Hills Dennis is down and loose on the racetrack. Driver injured, top of the lane. Into the lane, passing his turn the first time. Now, gentlemen, you do have a horse loose on the track. You have a horse loose on the track. He's way back. He's way back. He should be all right with you unless he turns around. Unless he turns around, you should be okay. He's loose on the track. As they race into the turn, go onto the halfway, off the quarter in 28 3/5. On top of the field, Pretty Boy FM, past the half in 1 minute and 1/5. As they race around the turn, go onto the backside. On the move is Marmaduke Hanover. Now second on the outside, down along the rail third, Keystone Dexter. Racing fourth, Pundit back after the early break. Racing fifth, Tyler's Better. Sixth at the rail, Keystone Redford. As they race around the turn, go on to the 3/4 mark. The leader remains Pretty Boy FM. 3/4, 1:29. Backside, 28 4. Racing second, Keystone Dexter. Third on the outside, Marmaduke Hanover. Pundit goes 3 wide. Down along the rail, Keystone Redford. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. Pretty Boy FM with the lead. Keystone Dexter closing on the outside. outside. Pretty Boy FM, Keystone Dexter coming to the wire. It's all Pretty Boy FM. 158 2/5.
It's 3 and then a photo in tonight's first division of the Bye Bye Bird. 158 2, last half 58 1, last quarter in 29 2. Winner was Pretty Boy FM, who went right to the front.
Inquiry.
We have an inquiry into the running of the race, by the way, so hold all tickets. Down the backside they go. Pretty Boy FM with the lead. Early on, the 7 Pundit had made the break. Lake Hills Dennis went down early with Doug Snyder, and field got pretty scattered here. Marmaduke is first over and never really saw the light of day. Along the inside, Keystone Dexter getting a perfect trip along the rail. Up on the outside, here comes the 7 Pundit again. Bass to 3/4 at 129. Pretty Boy FM with Gary Messenger in front, looking like a winner right here, because Keystone Dexter, although coming at him here, looks like he's going to go right on by. Watch here on the outside as the 7 Pundit closes back in. Through the lane, extending his lead, Pretty Boy FN, the 7 and the 4, closing with a rush. Look like 3 and then a close photo, 7 and 2.
And it does appear it's 7-2. Big comeback by the 7 Pundit in this one. Pretty Boy FM. They used the starting gate, by the way, to stop the loose horse on the track, Lake Hills Dennis. Doug Snyder did get up. He was dazed for a moment on the racetrack, did get up and walk off the track under his own power. Into the winner's circle, the winner of the 4th race, the Pennsylvania Sire Stake Bye Bye Bird, 3-year-old colt pace, $23,598. Number 3, Pretty Boy FM, Michael Miele of White Lake, New York. Chester Williams, the trainer. Gary Messenger in the sulky. 3-year-old bay colt. A Colt 46 at a Passion Fever. The only horse in the field not to have a 2-minute record takes a lifetime mark. 158 2. Final half 58 1. Final quarter 29 2. 3, 7, and 2.
That's in my action of the accident.
The order of finish.
Slow motion.
See some slow motion of what took place. Here's Doug Snyder, who passed up the hole for one reason or another. Probably couldn't get the horse backed off. He's charging on the outside, getting limber-legged. This horse may have choked down. He may have choked down. Goes off stride. Well, maybe not. And right down to the racetrack. Snyder goes up. Well, that horse is going to have a scraped up head. Thrown in front of the horse, and Snyder hits the racetrack head first. Doug goes down and hits the track head first on that one. The horse gets back up and will continue, but that race bike is shattered to smithereens in the shafts. And the horse goes on all the way around the racetrack, and they finally stopped him back by the 3/4 pole. Doug is, by the way, still laying on the racetrack. He got up before the horses got to the half, and Doug Snyder had walked off the racetrack. So we'll try and get a report on Doug Snyder from Jeff in a few moments. Results are official. Number 3, Pretty Boy FM at $15, $4.40, and $4. Second was number 7, Pundit at $3 and $3. Number 2, Keystone Dexter at $5.40. The exacta 3-7, $46.80. The trifecta 3-7-2, $693.80. We'll get the complete order of finish when it's available. In the 5th race coming up, there will be a driver's change on the 4 Briar Hill Keys. Doug Snyder will not drive the 4 Briar Hill Keys, and we'll get that driver for you as soon as it's available. Into the winner's circle, Trish Out Shepherd. Make the driver, let me, just before I get to you, Trish, Steve LeBlanc. Steve LeBlanc will drive the 4 Briar Hill Keys in the upcoming 5th. Now, Trish.
Okay, I'm in the winner's circle here with Gary Messenger, who just drove Pretty Boy FM to a new lifetime mark over a good track of 158 2 in the first division of the Bye Bye Bird Colt Stakes here at the Meadows. I have to tell you, Gary, that it was a wire-to-wire romp, and you told me earlier that the front was where you wanted to be. With all the confusion behind you, it seems like that was a smart move.
He likes the front end, this Colton. That's the place to be with him.
Well, he certainly did things up right. His record going into tonight's race was 2-3. Did you really feel he was capable of an effort like this?
Yes, he's paced 54 in the piece and 55 his last two starts at the Meadowlands. So he's just coming into his own now. I think he'll go faster yet.
So at this point in his career, you think he's peaking and is very sharp?
He's just getting sharp. He's peaking every week.
Were you concerned at all, even midway through the stretch, or did you think you had things all wrapped up?
I was still concerned. I seen the 7 flying on the outside. He had made a break early. I'm a little worried.
Yes, Pundit was the people's choice, and he did make a break early, but settled very quickly and then got back into the race. Congratulations on this victory. Pretty Boy FM was quite the pretty boy in the winner's circle. And now we're going to go back upstairs to Roger Huston.